Hey, you are coming with me. I'm gonna go outside. I'm actually gonna go for a walk, I think, around the house because I feel like it. I wanted to, originally, I had this great plan today to do some clearing. And so what that means, what that looks like for me is a fire in the fire pit and burning some shit down. Ooh, can I put that on my YouTube channel? I think so. I guess we'll find out. Oh my gosh, just moving my neck like that is killing me. I hurt my shoulder a little bit yesterday. I was trying to be badass Bridget and do my planks and get these arms back into condition. And I hadn't done yoga for like 9 days since I went to Disney. And so now I'm like trying to get back in the swing of things. And my shoulder is killing me. So I actually took some ibuprofen, and that's unusual. I don't usually do that. I try not to do that. I just don't. And unless I need it, then I take it. And I needed it, so I took it. Okay, so here's my fire pit here. Let's see how she's doing today. Aw, she looks kind of sad. Oh, you guys. I don't know. There's some trees back here, a tree back here that you can probably see. It's already starting to get a little bit of yellow on the leaves. It might be because we have a drought. Maybe that's it, instead of that, oh my gosh, it's going to be like fall. I don't know, you guys. I think it's a little too windy to do a fire. It's definitely dry out here, so I'd have to pull the hose out. My husband's always like, why are you don't need to pull the hose out. You don't need to have it by the fire. I'm like, yes, I do. Yes, I do. I need to be a responsible fire tender, right? So I actually have a story about fire. Do you guys want to hear it? Do you want to hear it? Want to hear my fire story? Well, several years ago when I was working my reels job, and at lunchtime, I would go out to lunch with a couple of my friends who were much, much older than me. Like they were my besties, but I think Shirley is, gosh, right now I think she's close to in her mid-70s. I don't know, a lot older than me, okay? And Mark was also, well, let's see, he died when he was like 62, I think. So he died pretty young, lung cancer. But so Mark and Shirley I went out to lunch with them a lot. We always went to the Chinese buffet place and would hang out and stuff. Well, they are my psychic friends. Shirley was really big into energy work and just really beautifully connected to the land and the earth and grew lots of food and just a really incredible woman. She was actually the director of our benefits section in the employee relations division that I was in. And I was the staffing administrator. And at that time, was I doing the staffing? No, I think I was actually HRD. I think I was human resource development coordinator at that point. That's what I was at that time, like doing the training and the performance management and all that stuff, coaching, all that. At that time, that's the job I had, I think, then. And so we would go out to lunch and talk all spiritual stuff. And Mark, also known as Red Turtle Bear, just would impart so much wisdom to Shirley and I. And we would just look at him, and it's like you would just get this infused knowledge from him. It was just crazy, these downloads. You know how people psychically talk about getting downloads? Yeah, well, that was Mark. He just kind of infused the knowledge. So I would have these weird dreams or experiences, and I would be like, hey, can we go to lunch? And then I would tell him what happened. I'm seeing this and this and this and this is what I'm seeing. And I keep hearing these words. And he was a Lakota medicine man and Red Turtle Bear. And one time I got this message, and it was in Lakota, and I didn't know what it meant. I didn't know it was in Lakota. I knew it was in some kind of Indian, Native American, I don't know what the proper term is even for that anymore nowadays to say that. The indigenous people, maybe that's what it is. And he said to me, Bridget, it means. And then he had this cup of water and this spoon, and he was trying to give me the clue as to what it meant. And he said to me, "It is your native name." And I'm like, what? I don't remember any past lives as an Indigenous person. And in this lifetime, I'm clearly like the whitest white person that there possibly ever could be. And so it surprised me. It really surprised me. And he said, "It's your native name." And I'm like, well, okay, well, what is it? And he said, "Standing water moon." Standing water moon. He was like standing the spoon up, pointing to the water, and then pointing to the sky. And I'm like, what? You're gonna have to spell it out for me. I was really new on my spiritual adventures at that time. And so standing water moon, isn't that beautiful? And I'm thinking, there's nothing about me that stands and is mellow. So like water that's mellow, especially at that time, I'm like, really? I'm like this mellow, but the moon, yeah, I totally get it. And I do love the water as an ocean, but I don't see that as a standing water, kind of calm body of water. I don't really see ocean that way. I see it as powerful and fierce. And so I was like, wow, that's beautiful. That's so beautiful. And then, so years go by, and Shirley and Mark were our youngest sons. When he was born, they were his godparents. So when we had a ceremony at our house, Mark did something, spoke a bit and did kind of a blessing for our child, our youngest. And they were his two of the four, because we had chose four godparents, but they were two of them. Were Shirley and Mark, so kind of god grandparents, right? And so then Mark made his transition a few years after that into the afterlife, and there were fire ceremonies on his property to help his spirit. It's like this, you have to tend to the fire for several days after the death of an Indigenous person from the tribe, and the idea is that you help light their way into the afterlife, into the spirit world. And so I went, and I never did a sweat lodge before. I never had a desire to. Some people really are into that, and really that's your path and you really want to do it. Never have I ever wanted to do that. And I just thought, that's really a lot of heat, and it's dark in there, and especially if like spirits are going to talk to you, I have enough of that on my own. I don't really need that little sweat lodge thing. And so, excuse me, I decided that I would go and be outside of the fire, and I would try to go in to the lodge. And they put me right on the edge by where the door was, so I only had one person to crawl over, right next to the person that tended the door, so that I could get out if I needed to, because they knew that I was like, okay, it's my first time, I'm doing this in honor of my friend. And so I went in, and it was hot, and they were pouring the water, spoonfuls of water on the fire, and the fire is actually stones. It's actually grandmother or grandfather stones that are put into the center, that are like in the fire outside of the tent and of the lodge, and then they roll them in, and then they pour water on this. You're not supposed to really talk a lot about the stuff you experience in a sweat lodge, so I'm not going to speak specifically about the things that I experienced. I'm just going to tell you that I didn't even last maybe 5 minutes, and I was like the darkness just enveloped me, and I felt literally like I just needed to breathe. Like I felt like I couldn't breathe. Like my throat was really tight and restricted, my throat chakra. And I came out of the lodge, and I just was close to the earth, and I just laid on the ground for a while, and it was cool, and I breathed and calmed myself down a bit. I wasn't panicky, but I just literally felt like, gosh, I don't even really know how to experience how I physically felt. I could talk about that, but I can't really talk about my psychic experiences in there. But I knew I was safe. I wasn't worried about that. I knew I was protected. But my physical body, literally, I felt the limits of the human form. Let's say that. I felt the limits. And my heart didn't feel strong enough at that point. I really just didn't feel strong enough in my heart to be in there. And maybe because of the grief, and it was just an incredible experience, right? And it was hard, and everybody was really kind to me after checking on me, because I was like, ooh, I think I'm gonna pass out, you know. And it was a whole thing, and I was okay. And then a few days later, maybe even a week later, I had this beautiful experience where I was out here. So we're right by my fire pit. I was outside, and these trees, these big cedar trees, have always been like protectors ever since I moved into this home with my husband. He built it right before I met him, and it's our home now. And I loved these red cedars, and a lot of people don't like the red cedars because they're real sticky and they kind of don't look as pretty as some of the other kind of evergreen or pine trees and things, and I love them. They're like a group, like a clan or a tribe, and there's like 5 or 6 of them here, and then there's a few on the other side. There's clusters. They're like a family. And I felt this just incredible ring of protection around our house because of these guys. And I can look out the window in my bedroom, in the kitchen where I do my psychic stuff, in the living room, on the deck, in the greenhouse, and see these. And so I was out here at the trees, and we also have 4 grandmother and grandfather stones, big huge rocks underneath the trees that we moved underneath there as kind of an altar space. I'll have to show them to you here in a bit. But so when I want to make when I want to do some kind of offerings to the spirit of the tree energies who support me and my family and my work and all that, and us, I will bring things like, if I have flowers, as the flowers are dying, I'll bring the flowers here and lay them to rest on the stones, one of the stones. And there's like a really nice flat one that I can lay things on. Or if I have like a message or a particularly intensive topic that I'm working through and I do some journaling about it and I want to tear it out, I'll bring it down here and I'll keep it here for a few days before I burn it or tear it up and throw it, etc. And this is just that place. And if I'm going to feed like the animals, the rabbits, etc., like feed them some blueberries or whatever I have that's extra or stuff, I'll bring them down. I bring it down here if I can, right? Otherwise, I'll just chuck it off the deck in this direction. Pretty much can happen. Just throw it off the deck in this direction. But so I was sitting out here. I was actually sitting, and I was emotional. I had meditated, and I was emotional. I was crying a bit, and just feeling the energy beneath my sits bones as I was just sitting right on the earth. So my butt was on the earth, and I could feel that bowl of energy in my sacral chakra, and I felt this like warmth coming from my sacral chakra, just below the belly, all the way up into my heart. And then he said, "You are a fire bear. This is your gift." And I was just like, what? Oh, bee, hello bee. Oh, don't sting me, please. Please don't sting me. Okay. Yeah, he like whispered in my ear, just like that bee tried to do. Like, bee, don't get too close to me. Got to be invited into this space. Invitation only, by invitation only. Oh my gosh, that was weird. So he said, I heard very clearly, "Fire bear, this is your gift." Like a gift to you. Like he was gifting this to me or passing it to me or awakening it. Maybe he just lit it within me because I went in and I was at the fires, and then I went into the sweat lodge, and maybe that was it. And I've known that like my whole time connected to divine feminine energy. I know that I got fire. I got fire. When people say fire in the belly, that's me. I got it. I live it. And it's just a beautiful part of my essence, of who I am. And oh God, I love the sun right now. I love how hot it is out here. I probably look awful because I'm probably super sweaty, but it's just gorgeous. Let's just feel that sun. I can feel it like on my throat and my heart. Oh, it just feels so good. It feels so good. I love it. I'm gonna have to watch this video in the winter time. Thank you, sun, solar energy, for being present, shining down on us today. Thank you for your optimism and your eternal hope, because I won't give up on my dreams or that which I envision for myself, because I know, right? I am the keeper of my own dreams. And I'll use my fire to light the way and to remove obstacles or barriers that I come across or discover within myself. All right, so do you guys want to walk? What am I at for timing? Oh, I'm good. I'm pretty good. Let's walk in the path here. So There's a little path that goes down here. Let's see, I have sandals on. Not the smartest of hiking choices, sandals, not particularly, but I'm gonna take off my shoes and go barefoot a little bit. Just a second, I gotta duck. Not because I'm magnificently tall, but because I'm tall enough where I have to duck underneath the trees here. Oh, there's grasshoppers. They're like hopping in front of me. Hi guys. Hey, how's it going? It's so pretty back here. Hi. And it's so pretty back here, and the fall too, it's really cool back here. It's like, I would love to just tent back here. The deer come through. I should show you guys here just a minute. You guys don't need to be looking at me, do you? Oh, I can't switch my camera right now. But look, see? Look at that sun peeking up. Yeah, isn't that pretty? Yeah. Hey, do you like my new hat? Positive vibes only, Rafiki. It's a Disney thing here. Just gonna take this in here for just a minute. I'm gonna breathe. I'm gonna invite you guys to breathe with me. As we walk. Oh, this feels good right here. I love to feel the trees. You know what? I'm gonna touch one just because I think I need to. Oh yeah, that feels good. Please ground me, help to center my energies, help to balance and align my energies. Things that I'm worrying about or thinking about, help me to get my thoughts into a rhythm that helps me to create a productive and positive and healthy life. Through the choices that I make, the feelings I choose to hold on to or release. Release, release, release. I have been really struggling with some very intense feelings and emotions, and I want to be able to work through them and not feel so on fire sometimes. On fire with purpose or with intention would be lovely. Right now I'm a little wildfire-like, so here we go, a little bit more. Let's walk a little bit more. We do have neighbors, yes. We got about 5.5 acres out here, but we do have neighbors, yes. So from time to time you hear the tractor from the guy behind us, retired farmer, and all sorts of interesting power tools from his shed. So right now it's fine, you can't really hear that. The drain fields are way here in the back. We're not gonna go this way, but the drain fields are way back there. I actually should look for some sage. Usually August is when we can harvest the sage. I didn't see any just out the window, but I'll have to go take a walk back and see at some point if there's any there, because I've harvested it for a couple of years and dry it out and use it. Oh, here's some right here. You see this? My dears? This is sage. This is what it looks like in the wild when you grow it. You don't pull it from the roots, you have to cut it. I won't be able to pull it, I won't be able to clip it here because I don't have a, I don't have a scissors, but here it is. That's what it looks like. Just a little bit. It usually grows by the drain field because it needs kind of that moisture, you know. So here we go. Here's some more cedars. These are the ones by the dog pen. The dog pen's in the back here. And that's it, pretty much. I'm gonna walk to the front of the house and maybe grab my journal, do some writing. Maybe you know what I'll do, which sounds great, and maybe a little weird to you, but I think I'm gonna grab my lawn chair that I usually do. Sometimes I'll do videos downstairs or sessions downstairs, down on the patio down here. I'm gonna grab that lawn chair and go sit by where the fire pit is and just kind of visualize an ethereal fire and throw some things in that I want to be cleared, you know, and then knowing that the clearing doesn't happen instantly. The fire spirits, the nature spirits, the energies will come in probably in the evening time, so I'll have to be cognizant of that and make sure that I ask for extra assistance from like Archangel Metatron to help align my body and my energies so that I can be cohesive and structured in ways that are healthy and not throwing me off, especially because I only have like 5 days to help my oldest son to help him move into college, and so there's some last minute things we have to do and got to check the tuition stuff, and just, you know, I need my brain to function for that, and not my emotions to be so overwhelming during that process. And when you're instigating a clearing, you're initiating that, sometimes you just don't have control over those things. So I'm going to try to keep it structured as I can, as gentle as I can. But so there you go. This is Bridget. Thanks for listening to my vlog here on my Fairy Grasshopper channel on YouTube. Make sure you follow me on Instagram, Bridget Inspired, and on Facebook, also Bridget Inspired. Thanks for being here. I hope you enjoyed the video.